Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, as you see what's going on in our lovely island of Fawnhallow today. In late night episode, just got done with D&D. Of course, this one's bound to be late because this D&D session is about 30 minutes later than the other one. Although usually I do record beforehand, I didn't today. But yeah, what should I talk about? It's about, the first thing I immediately thought of was the fact that I was like, something I was going to talk about yesterday was the fact that I actually broke my screen protector yesterday. And it was the final screen protector I have, so currently my phone has its screen protector loose. But good evening everyone, right now in Fawnhallow it's 11:33 PM on Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. Yeah, my phone currently doesn't have a screen protector, and I was going to order another one, and I was like, wait a minute, the new, like, Pixel phone's coming out in a month or so, like, I don't think, hopefully I'm not going to break my phone by then, the screen. You might be like, how did you break it this time? Legit, it fell out my pocket as I was taking a step, and I stepped on it, and I was just like, what, how could this happen? it was so unbelievably, I'm like, I don't even know how it fell out of my pocket as well. Like, I know it doesn't perfectly fit in that pocket if I put it up vertically, but I normally put it in horizontally, and I thought I did. And I definitely don't know what movement I did which would make it come out of a pocket. And it got very unluckily fell down. It was actually where I broke my last screen protector as well. No, the time before, but it fell down onto like stones essentially, like a sort of like cobblestone style ground. As I was taking a step, and it literally fell like under my foot, and I was like, I cannot believe this happened. But yeah, I guess I got to get myself one of those straps back on my phone, because that's what I usually have, my sort of Minnie Mouse phone charm, to make sure that I don't drop my phone or whatever. But now it's just gone. I mean, to be fair, I was looking at some on Etsy, and I was like, these are pretty nice, but the one I really like is from America, and I'm just like, is that worth like £20 postage just to get it? The answer's probably not, but it does look pretty cool. I don't know, browsing Etsy's fun. But yeah, that happened. No, the other pretty major thing which happened from this D&D session, well, not actually from the session itself, but one of my players a while back, you know, I can't remember how the conversation came up, but I was basically saying like, oh yeah, I mean, if you have theories about the world and things, you know, feel free to like type at me, like type them to me, talk to me about them. Of course, I love the world I've created, and I love to hear what other people think is going on as well. Like I often say this, just being like, hey, you know, talk to me about what you think's going on. I'm not going to change the world on you, and it's not like some hidden information. Of course, I know everything that's going on. I guess the problem is I can't really have much of a discussion back. I can just be like, but you know, come on, DM's got to eat too as well. But anyway, that happened, and then my friend sort of joked, being like, all right, you know, I'm going to write an essay up, and then I'll send it to you of what I think's going on, and I'd be like, absolutely do that. And I thought she was just like sort of compiling like notes and documents of following the law or whatever, but today she actually sent it to me, and she legit wrote like not obviously a full dissertation, but a dissertation like essay, like something you might have in university, analysing like different resources and evidence, and even having like an afterword conclusion, speculation things. Like it's properly like a research essay to do with the D&D plot, and I love it, you know. It's things like this, you know, these little things which I'm just saying, if any of your players out there with a DM, it's things like this, I think, which are the greatest motivators for DMing. You know, when people make art, when people just be like really excitedly tell you like a theory they have going on, or share something which they've put genuine effort into regarding something that you've created as a DM. I mean, created with them as a DM and a DM party, to be honest. That's really quite a big motivation, I think. Like, I've not even read it. Like, I've had a skim through, and I'm like, damn, this is like commitment, you know. And that's what makes me appreciate it quite a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna have a fun time properly reading that through today, or I don't know, tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. But it genuinely is a very cool thing. Like, I mean, I did maths university, so there was very little like actual essay like writing, which I had to do for like a research paper, because I didn't do like academia. Like, I did like we had like this mathematical project we had to do with MATLAB, which I did have to do like writing for. I don't actually know, like, do I still have mine? We had like different modules. Like in first year, you had like basically a set, like you had to pick one of four, no, 2 or 4 modules to write about. But then second or third year, I can't remember. I think it was, no, maybe it's third year and second year we did them. It was basically credit based. You just had to hit like 30 credits or so, from a combination of whatever modules you did, whatever modules you wanted to analyse and talk about. I think whatever I did ended up being 32 modules, 32 credits. Mainly because I took like I did like the combinatorics one, the graph theory one. I can't remember what the other one I did. It's some sort of optimization one. It genuinely was actually quite interesting, I think. I've legit no idea if I still got it around somewhere. I don't know where it'd be. Documents? School? Okay, is this it? Yeah, oh wow, I still have it. I still have my PDF file of what's going on. Oh yeah, this graph theory one. I don't even know what this question's about. It's quite a long one. There's a lot of stuff. I can't even remember what I got overall on it. I actually can't believe I actually like programmed this in a way. Looking at MATLAB now, I'm just sort of just like, ugh, what a pain. Absolutely fascinating. I generally have no recollection of writing a lot of this. I vaguely remember the question though, because I remember spending a lot of time on it. Anyway, not the point. But like having a sort of like dissertation, sort of like academic write-up about the D&D campaign, the one I've spent so much time sort of like pouring into, is great, I think. Again, any sort of like amount of sort of commitment to the bit, I think is always genuinely appreciated, and it's also something which I can engage with, because obviously it's not meant to necessarily be as much of a discussion. It's not like she wrote it and then she's expecting me to sort of like critique it, being like, this is right, this is wrong. It's just completely self-indulgent for myself to be able to look at it and be like, wow, yeah. Now I can't say how close or how not close she is, but being able to I don't know, I think the fact that like it's just got the style like of an academic write-up is just so brilliant. The only thing I think it's missing is like citing sources, I suppose. It's got an underword, it's got an afterword of fundings, acknowledgements of all the members of the party. References. References are descriptions that were first-hand accounts from my companions and I during this investigation. Isn't that lovely? I also got a very nice drawing from or animation, I should say, from my friend on Artfight. So really, I'm eating good today. I'm getting lots of good stuff from my friends. So genuinely is a lot of fun. I suppose it's, it's good mood. It's good vibes. I like that. Makes you appreciate what's going on. But yeah, I'm gonna have a fun time, appreciating the animation, appreciating this sort of dissertation write-up. I mean, it probably sounds a bit weird to be like, like animation, you could be like, oh yeah, I could see that directly how that like would be something you would appreciate. But something like a dissertation write-up probably sounds a bit weird for me to be like it, but it is, I always find myself as someone who's rather picky when it comes to the legitimate end goal of something, of gifts given to me. I know myself, I tend to be like quite difficult in that regard, but often like the effort put in is what makes me appreciate something the most. I love handicrafts as things and stuff as gifts rather than bought things. Like, I've spoken about this before, but a small group of us who do like these projects each year for the birthday gifts. My favourite ones that I've received have always been the handicraft ones that have been made. Like one of them, they did like a big drawing poster, despite the fact that they didn't really do much drawing. They made like little plushies on me. Love those ones. They're still on display on my shelf. But yeah, I think it is very much a next level thing to write like an academic paper, to receive an academic paper on my D&D stuff. I love that, breaking the mediums, that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It just it very much surprised me. Because when I sort of got the PDF, I was like, oh yeah, this is a thing that she mentioned before about being like, oh yeah, like analysing what's going on, stating her theories, but seeing it written out in such like a sort of nice format is wild, I would say. I'm not encouraging you, all of you, to go out there and be like, oh, what you have to do is you have to start writing out, whatchamacallits. Like academic papers or things of this caliber, I suppose, if you want to give your gifts to friends or something. That's obviously a little outrageous. But it's very much a sort of thing where it's like the effort that you put in is appreciated, no matter what direction that effort goes in. Because I feel like, if you are an artist and you want to give a gift, like hand-created work, and that way it's a lot easier to be like, oh, I can see much more directly, like giving like a visual piece of media would be appreciated. But if you're someone like who writes academic papers, for example, or something like this, being like, how can I do something which would be appreciated? At least for me, this is how you can do it, I suppose. I think it could still be appreciated in that sense as well. I guess your mileage may vary. Maybe like some people wouldn't appreciate it, which is, if anything, I think a shame. You're missing out. You're missing out on an academic paper about your own D&D world. Okay, specifically this D&D world, but I'm sure there's like different avenues here, which would also make sense. Like if you're someone who likes writing, I would absolutely love to read a story or poem or something about adventures which have happened. A mashup, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of just other ways of creating something. A mathematical proof, a mathematical analysis about something in the D&D world, that'd be really funny as well, I think. Who says, STEM subjects can't be a way to express things creatively as well? Hopefully not many people say that, to be honest, but, yeah. It's just sort of something which, when it happened, I was just like, this is wonderful. It truly, truly is fantastic. But yeah. What else can I say? I don't really know. It's just sort of isn't it such a sort of bizarre situation to find yourself in, to be like, yes, look at this academic paper I've got. I'm trying to think what the strangest thing I could receive would be. I don't know. I think it'd be hard to say, because it's hard to know exactly. I guess it's dependent on exactly like what interests or what some of my friends feel like they could do, right? But I don't know. From my perspective, at least, I love receiving anything like this. To be honest, any form of anything which I think basically shows that you appreciate what the effort put in, and put in effort of your own, I suppose, outside of it. Something which makes me go like, oh, you actually think about the D&D stuff outside the session, and are excited for it. That's I think the story which is carried throughout through that. Yeah, because one of my friends does a lot of D&D drawings on campaigns. I love seeing what's being drawn. Obviously, not so much that it's not as often that our fight's going on, and it kind of makes me want to draw like some stuff as well. Obviously, the stuff I want to draw tends to be more focused on the NPCs. I mean, they've got the player characters covered, to be honest. But I'm like, no, I love my NPCs too. I put time and work into them, hey. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of like why I often say, just like, talk to your DM about the theories you got, because that's also, it basically, at least from my perspective, is like, you are thinking about the world outside of a bare minimum, right? And that makes it fun. Or if you, even things like you talk about the stories which happen afterwards, and you think back to a moment and just be like, oh, it was so funny when that happened. That makes me appreciate it, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. Academic paper gift? I'm just trying to think what on earth I'm going to call this episode, to be honest. But yeah, if anything, I suppose I'm honoured. I'm spoiled to have, you know, as good friends and players as the ones I have, to be generous enough to use their time to create something basically for them as well, but also for me, you know. So I'm appreciative of that, and that's how it happens. Anyway, on that note, I guess I'll round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.